Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Subi Chaturvedi. I'm the Global SVP for INMOPI. I lead public policy, corporate affairs across every country, geography that we've been present in. We're India's first unicorn, and we put India on the global map when it comes to consumer technology. I also lead the FICCI Committee for Women, Technology and Policy, the ASSOCHAM Committee on Cybersecurity and Cyber Laws. The intent of our journey has been to simplify policy and to work with technology for good, so that looking at Gandhiji's constructs of local self-help, local villages, and also empowering technology's benefits till the last mile, and taking the concept further of Antodaya, where every single person has to benefit. And that is where I think the Prime Minister's vision of a fully connected and digitally empowered India has been transformative. I was also the first Indian on the United Nations Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group, representing 2 stakeholder groups. And that's where we looked at how global governance processes should work for the global south, should work to benefit countries like India, like developing economies, emerging economies. And that's really been my journey across academia, corporate leadership roles, but focused around simplifying policy so that public policies are for the public good and they're after public consultation. I think it is a prolific vision. I was born and brought up in the city of Lucknow. It will always hold a very, very special place for us. Our founder comes from Kanpur. He spent his growing up years at the IIT Kanpur campus. Mr. Naveen Tiwari, who went on to find India's first unicorn. I think it is important to recognize the sheer ambition of over 23 crore people. When we look at India, it's the power of 140 crore Indians looking for technology, benefits of technology. What Uttar Pradesh gives us is immense amount of diversity, immense amount of opportunity, terrific amounts of exciting data. I don't think there is any other space which is more primed to look at this opportunity, not just from a pure technology lens of artificial intelligence, but लखनऊ हमारा शहर जो है वो नज़ाकत, नफासत, कल्चर का शहर है. यहाँ गंगा जमुनी तहजीब बहती है. तो जब हम AI का भी स्वरूप तैयार करें, इट हैज़ टू हैव अ समन्वय, उसमें सद्भाव होने की आवश्यकता है. वर्ल्ड लीडर्स आर टुडे मीटिंग ग्लोबली टू फिगर आउट responsible and ethical AI. And when it comes to Uttar Pradesh, there are about 70 incubator centers. The amount of connectivity and speed under the responsiveness of the present government, it's been completely transformative. So we've held a lot of meetings over the last week. We met with the Principal Secretary, IT, Anil Sagarji. We're looking at how conversations can start happening between government, private sector, industry, academia, civil society, global think tanks to shape the vision for AI, which I don't think any other country or any other space is poised to do. And that's where I think the global share of AI is about 15.7 billion US dollars. India's opportunity is 500 billion US dollars. तो अगर आज नहीं तो फिर कब और करेंगे. And that is where a lot of us are very, very excited to create structures. So globally, innovations are happening like the Glance lock screen, which is the first ever lock screen platform, 400 million consumers, and we have been able to create consumer technology for the first time out of India. And that's where this movement with Samsung, with Nvidia, there is so much of collaboration that unlike other technologies, for the first time, hum piche nahi hai. Yeah, it's not a follow-up act. We have the ability in a post-COVID world to democratize technology, to take up our space under the sun, and that's the transformation that committed people like us are trying to bring to UP and carry forward the Prime Minister's vision of not having a slavery mindset. And that's the speech he gave from the ramparts of the Red Fort. He talked about the Panch Pran. He talked about how we're not, limited by the potential of our ambition. It is 2 things that we need to look at. We need to forget and learn from our past at the same time. We need to build on our strengths. What UP brings is another thing. It's immense amount of engineering talent, it's culture, content, creativity. Marry that with limitless ambition, and above all a spirit to give back to your city. And I think that's what all of us have gathered here in the ET AI Vision Conclave. We earlier heard from the Deputy Chief Minister Brajek Pashan ji, the Chief Secretary Durga Shankar Mishra ji, the Industries Minister Nandakumar Nandi ji, and the happiness that we felt today on the stage, where everyone's speaking with one single mission, that India needs to be a global leader in AI, and that can happen in UP, and I'd be the happiest to see that happening in Lucknow. So very, very delighted to be here today. I think it's a very important question, but we've learned from how there are gaps between what the private sector wants and what state policies can look at. When it comes to disruptive industries, look, law and policy will always play catch up. But this is where there are opportunities like creating regulatory sandboxes, like doing more consultative processes where policy comes after speaking to the beneficiaries and the proponents. You talked about population, we're about 23 crore people on an average. और कोई ऐसी जगह नहीं है जहाँ अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट लोग समझते हैं. When we grew up, that makes you tenacious, that makes you more determined, that makes you more resilient, that makes you more ingenious, that makes you more creative. And that's what all the people in Lucknow are very, very proud of when they bring their culture, when they bring their heritage to the table, where it's not just about doing the right thing, it's also about doing it the right way. And that has been our contribution to the world. You've produced some of the stalwart leaders who've been coming out of UP, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. When it comes to sending parliamentarians from Lucknow, Lucknow's always been leading at the forefront. The responsibility also lies equally on the industry because it's complicated technology, right? So if you can explain your proposition where even the last mile denominator is able to understand, if you're able to engage with the government, build capacity to say, this is what we're bringing to the table, this is the problem that we're solving for. And what I'm really happy about is this is no longer on paper. We signed MOUs worth 33,000 crores. I was present at the UP Investor Summit. I'm now seeing groundbreaking ceremonies taking place, and that brings me a lot of joy. It's very, very heartening because there is no reason why people should leave a city like Lucknow. I've never been happier in any other place. It's green, it's beautiful, and there's so much warmth in the people, right? So when you bring these opportunities, when you marry connectivity, when you marry great law and order, when you marry the availability of clusters where people can learn from each other, which is what, let's say, London has been able to do, which is what Tel Aviv has been able to do. So we are saying, don't become the startup capital of the world or the country, become the innovation capital to the world, and do it in a manner which only India can produce, when technology done the right way can lead to a lot of immediate benefits that translate and transform the lives of the people. Thank you for the compliment, and I think Naveen, Abhay, Mohit, Amit Gupta and Piyush, they started the organization with a vision. In 2008, InMobi started as M-Coach, very quickly shifting to InMobi. We're now the world's largest independent ad tech company and taking India to the world. The conversation always was, can India have a Google? Can India have a Facebook? And which is where this group of people so inspired. The average age of an InMobi in the organization is about 11 years. It's unheard of. We're known for our culture. We're known for our bold ambition. We're known for our values. You'd also be very happy to know that when India completed 75 years of independence and the Niti Aayog celebrated the 75 milestones of innovation, InMobi was positioned right next to the Aryabhatta satellite. It's a moment of pride and joy for all of us. So when I think a lot of us go with this notion that the government may or may not facilitate a conversation. I have seen tremendous transformation over the last decade where there are officers who are saying, hey, what can we do? How can we work with you? It is equally incumbent, like I said, that when you're looking at a difficult proposition, how is it that you can express the problem statement? How is it that you're adding to the discipline? How is it that you are taking India to the world? And that is what InMobi has always done. We've been the virtual disruptor. Today, we started Glance in 2019, and I'm so happy to share with you that within 3 years, it became a unicorn. So we're a double unicorn with Google and Jio on our cap table. And what we're doing is, it's a first ever technology that's taking the lock screen, which used to be dominant, content, news, streaming, lifestyle, making new trends, giving people information. The responsibility of not just bringing new users online, connecting new users, it's very, very important that you create a meaningful and productive environment for them, where content is in local languages, where they're able to understand the meaning of the internet and they're able to enrich their lives better. And that has been the problem statement that InMobi addresses, not just in India now, but in about 26 countries. We launched Glance in LATAM, in the US, in partnership with Motorola. We're in Indonesia, we're present in Japan. So when you give value to consumers, when you talk about bringing their authentic self, and when technology becomes not just a means to taking you from place A to B, but it starts making your life richer, then we've never had a government who's not supported us. They've been our force multiplier. They've always blessed us, they have encouraged us, and they've cheered for us. That's the kind of ecosystem that InMobi and its founders have been able to build together. I think we all need to first congratulate ourselves. We decided to be witnessing a very, very important moment today. These are the kind of milestones that people remember when, let's say, the foundation was laid not just for a building, but the architecture or the vision plan was formed. There are many, many countries that solve for education, that solve for healthcare, that solve for the future of their citizens, and that started happening from better e-citizen services, better deliveries of services to them, which is what we're solving for. That don't just talk about research, which is from a pure science basis. What is the role that AI will play in your life, in your parents' lives? How is it that you will empower more women in technology? How is it that you will get more girls in STEM? How is it that AI can be useful for analyzing the health of your soil? How is it that AI can be used to solve the traffic problems? What we're discussing today is how can the world congregate? And these sessions are tremendous, very well curated. I want to congratulate Arpit, Gaurav and the entire team for such a thoughtful curation of a session. I feel I'm a lifelong student of technology, media and society. There is so much that I have learned today just being here as a speaker, contributing to people. So I wish them the very best of the full day conference, and I hope they find the sessions very, very useful. Thank you once again for having me.